I love love, okay? I think love is lovely. I think everyone should be allowed to love who they want to love. Donald Trump actually has a homosexual man in his cabinet. Not only does he have a homosexual man as his Secretary of Treasury, but we also have Caroline Leavitt, the youngest press secretary, with the oldest husband. I think everyone should be allowed to love who they want to love, even if that person is old enough to be your dad. It's so gross. Like, they met during her failed congressional campaign. He was her finance manager. She's in her 20s. She's in her 20s and his arm hair is white. Like, love who you want to love, okay? I hope Donald Trump is giving good erectile dysfunction medication recommendations outside of Caroline Leavitt being susceptible to the influence of older and powerful men. Now here is Caroline Leavitt as press secretary.
On day one, President Trump declared a national emergency at our southern border to end the 4-year-long invasion of illegal aliens under the previous administration.
Let's get one thing clear. Every time they say invasion, they are talking about a war. Thank you! We're talking about sending military personnel down to the southern border for an invasion from foreign countries. That is a war. That is a war. This is Donald Trump at his inauguration. This is after he was elected. This was his first day in office. His first thing. What are the number one things on his mind? It's going to Mars and this.
And by invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798.
The Alien Enemies Act of 1798 under the fucking John Adams administration. Not even John Quincy Adams, John Adams, like the second fucking president. This was when we were in war with France, and it was like right after they had helped us beat Britain in the Revolutionary War, except we didn't want to send them aid for the French War. So we got really, really, really defensive against anyone that was a Francophile, and we like shut them up. These laws, which were widely denounced for restricting freedom of speech and later contributed to the Federalist defeat in the election of 1800. This destroyed an entire political party. Maybe we should let him enact it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not an accelerationist. During World War II, immediately after December 7th, Pearl Harbor, President Roosevelt invoked the Alien Enemies Act to authorize the government to detain enemy aliens and confiscate any enemy property. This was obviously during a Democratic administration, and I obviously condemn that. But it's incredible the amount of things that you were able to do when you were claiming national security and protection from the enemy within. Sound familiar? Listen, I try not to get too worked up about things, or I'm trying. It's a work in progress, honestly. I'm trying not to get too worked up about things until they actually happen, until like I actually see the effects, which is why I'm focusing so hard on this immigration thing, on these deportations, because they are happening and I'm seeing the effects. Donald Trump wants to create a base in Guantanamo Bay to house immigrants, and it's sounding vaguely like a concentration camp of sorts. I'm not going to make historical comparisons, but I'm just saying the Alien Enemies Act has been done before to create labor camps and to create labor and internment camps. It's a better way of saying it, I guess. President Trump says he plans to use a migrant holding facility at the US naval base in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, to house up to 30,000 criminal migrants. Now, I do need to add, Hegseth did say that, these are not camps. We're not putting criminals in camps. This is not camps. We pinky promise. I just don't believe him. I don't know. You tell me. Make your own decisions.
As proven by this weekend, when President Trump swiftly directed his team to issue harsh and effective sanctions and tariffs on the Colombian government, upon hearing they were denied a U.S. military aircraft full of their own citizens who were deported by this administration. Within hours, the Colombian government agreed to all of President Trump's demands, proving America is once again respected on the world stage.
I'm sorry, the idea that because we've successfully bullied a South American country with our economic power over them, that proves that now America is respected across the globe. We've done that so many fucking times already. Nothing is new. Literally nothing. Nothing is new. Nothing is original about America going down to a South American country and using its economic influence to fuck over that South American country and get concessions that are unfair. And I don't understand how this is a flex. flex. And that's also not even what happened. What happened was Caroline Levitt is posting these sensationalized photos on her Twitter of like immigrants in street clothes being detained with chains escorted by the military onto a military warcraft. What? My issue with this is also like, this is just propaganda. If you're gonna make them criminals, at least go all the fucking way. Like at least like put them in a fucking jumpsuit or something. Like why are you just gonna give them matching Crocs and leave them in their street clothes and just like let them rock like that? Like either they're normal people or either they're criminals, which by the way, of the like 1,000 people that they detained, only like 500 of them had a criminal record. And the rest of them, they said, committed the crime of entering here illegally, which means that they literally were doing nothing wrong other than just being here. This is like, is this propaganda? Is this I need you. This is like drafting for war times. Jesus Christ. I'm not always gonna be screaming propaganda, okay? But just in this video specific, with this in topic in specific, this is, oh God. Anyways, the Colombian president saw this and sent out a tweet that said, the United States can't treat Colombian immigrants like fucking criminals, like delinquents. And now I'm not gonna let any North American planes come into my territory. The United States better establish some dignified protocol for shipping these migrants over here, and then we'll take them. That's what he said. That is what he said. Now, he said this, and instead of Donald Trump picking up the phone and calling him, instead of Donald Trump trying to engage in any type of foreign diplomacy at all to try and come to a resolution, he was golfing and he just fucking put off tariffs.
Well, over the weekend, President Trump was golfing, and then he decided it was time for Colombia, the country, not the university, to F around and find out. So here's how it all went down. It was pretty incredible. So Colombia had announced that they were not going to accept plane flights filled with deportees.
He was golfing. He was golfing and he didn't care to pick up the phone and like try and call Marco Rubio and be like, hey, can you figure this out for me for a sec? No, he just tweeted out this. Emergency 25% tariffs, travel ban, visa sanctions, and hey, like this is so extreme. For like all he literally said, I'll show you so you don't just take my word for it. The United States must establish a protocol for the dignified treatment of migrants before we receive them. This is how you do foreign relations, okay? You make a statement, you take a side, you list what you want, you list what you're willing to sacrifice, and then you negotiate from there. He listed the problem, he listed what he wanted. Why was there no negotiation following this? Because Donald Trump just fucking posted this out without telling anyone. When the White House is posting this, like, what are we doing? Obviously, the president of Colombia is gonna fucking denounce that. Now, I will say his response was very, very dramatic, especially considering, like, I get it. I get the sentiment. It's not effective. It's just not a good, like, strategy to do. Anyways, and he ended up conceding the next day. But that was also because they finally let these people go on a fucking normal plane. Like, look, notice how the plane is a civilian fucking plane now. It's not a military aircraft. Notice how they're not all wearing matching Crocs. They're just wearing like their regular fucking shoes. Notice how they're not in chains anymore. Like, this was literally this is regular foreign diplomacy. This was just regular foreign diplomacy, foreign relations happening, working out the way that they're supposed to. Except this time Donald Trump put a big fucking magnifying glass on it and said, look at everyone, look what I did. I'm so big and strong. I cast these tariffs and scared everyone. Ooh. I think that knowing about history is important. Like, the reason why I know about the Alien Enemies Act and the relations to Japanese internment camps is that history is important. And I'm just gonna put this little historical piece of information out there before this next clip, okay? Historically, in Germany, they used to do this thing where they would put Jewish people with Jewish features really big on news publications and on news outlets, and they would make them criminals. They would paint them out to be evil. If a Jewish person did a crime, they got the front page story. They made sure that, you know, you got the long beard, you got the nose, you have the physical features to make sure that the population can be on the lookout and can be weary of these people, and just further instilling that idea that this demographic of people is dangerous. He's gonna steal your money or whatever they're saying. Okay, so this is a known propaganda strategy. This is a historically used propaganda strategy.
On January 23rd, ICE San Francisco arrested a citizen of Mexico unlawfully present in the United States who has been convicted of continuous sexual abuse of a child aged 14 years or younger. ICE St. Paul has arrested a citizen of Honduras who was convicted of fourth-degree criminal sexual conduct with a minor.
Like, she goes on. This goes on for so long. And it's her putting these pictures of very clearly brown people. They're all brown. They all have Hispanic features. And putting their crimes just big and bold there. Now we have a full screen. Like, it's not just this press briefing. The entire ICE Twitter feed is a Mexican national, Salvadorian MS-13 gang member, Cesar Mendoza Gonzalez, Venezuelan national, Afghan national, Octavio Juarez Bonilla, like Juan, like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And now to end this video off, I need to inform you of something that you might not have been paying attention to, okay? I need to inform you of something that I have found myself, you know, through doing hard. Can we get a big disclaimer up here that this is all satire? Okay, thank you. John Fitzgerald Beavers, a white male designated sexual predator, where? Within a 3-mile radius from Mar-a-Lago. David Brian Bishop, again, sexual predator, with a child. Found where? Within a 3-mile radius from Mar-a-Lago. John William Clark, another sex offender, found guilty with a child. Where? Within a 3-mile radius from Mar-a-Lago. Wayne Crawley, another white male, found guilty. First-degree sexual misconduct, a sex offender. Found where? Within a 3-mile radius of Mar-a-Lago. Shane Matthew Cummings sent harmful information to a minor. Found where? Within a 3-mile radius of Mar-a-Lago. Something needs to be done. Something needs to be investigated. 4 more years, 4 more years, 4 more years, 4 more years. We can make it, we can make it, we can make it. Just 4 more years. It's been a really long 2 weeks, but 4 more years. I didn't even get to any of the... Guys, I have so many more timestamps of this press briefing where she's just fucking lying. I didn't even make it through the first fucking 5 minutes. I'm on minute 4.